Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the grimdark future, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this casted Dawn of War 1 showdown. Here we have the Dark Eldar facing off against the Orks, so it should be quite a bit of fun, and based on the names of the players, you know that feeling when you get into an RTS game, you can just see by somebody's name that they're sweaty? You know, you just get that energy. I guess in the early 2000s it would be, be the X on either side and the Dark Reaper, just something funny like that, but it is going to be Dark Eldar facing off against Orks. This is going to be a map with 3 critical locations. We do have one on the bridge, and each player is going to essentially have a home critical location. Now, the Dark Eldar are a faction I know absolutely nothing about, so this cast is really going to be more of a learning experience for all of us, and pretty much the same goes for the Orks, but let's see what these players can do, and let's figure it out. So the first building here is going to be a Dark Foundry, and I would imagine that that is going to be one of the basic production buildings with plasma generators. So Dark Eldar, I believe they drop buildings like Protoss, which is pretty cool. I did play them in an FFA game once, and I remember you can drop the buildings, you can leave them, and go do other things. And we do have Mandrakes coming out, which are one of the early capture units. So you just move around the map, you capture with these guys, and they're respectable in melee, don't have any shooting of any sort, but against enemy scout equivalent type units, they're going to be able to fight. All right. Here is the Tortured Slave, and we do have the Homunculus Laboratory coming out, so very curious to see what they're going to be building with these buildings and seeing what notes we can take. So double Mandrakes out, and for the Wog on the south side here, we do have Sluggaboy, so this is going to be, you see he has Mad, and then the name separator, number 6, 5, 6, 7, and then up on the top side, it's going to be Elm. They got the clan tags, they got all the sweaty stuff, which I love. All right, so a couple Sluggaboy squads out of the map. Listening posts going to be getting established by the Orks to make sure they don't get harassed and dove too heavily. Granted, I think the Orks would be the ones knocking on Heaven's Door a little bit quicker, but the aggression squads are going to be rapidly building listening posts up, which is pretty cool. So we have the boys' hut, we have a generator in the back, strategic points are being taken, and you will notice that he is building the listening posts away from his base first. Now, this is something when I first started playing the game, I would always build my listening post in base, just out of instinct. It's the closest one, but building them out further where your opponent could actually pressure you and capture seems to be a little bit more relevant, right? So, Mandrake squad's going to be fighting against the Sluggaboys. Sluggaboy's going for the decap right now, and the Sluggaboys are taking a little bit of damage. In a straight fight, though, the Mandrakes, I believe, let's see, so 21 to 27 with heavy infantry profile, and 24 to 30 with basic infantry profile. More HP on the Sluggaboys, but they do have more models, so individually, I don't know, bit of a toss-up right there, I suppose. But the Orks are on the aggro. The Tower of Loathing going to be getting set up here, which is the equivalent of a listening post for these bad boys. And now we see the Big Mac coming out. So the Big Mac is the early hero character for the Orks. And are we going to be seeing the Archon coming out? Oh no, actually rushing the Reaver jet bikes out of the Dark Foundry. Okay, pretty cool. So the mobile Dark Eldar are going to be in play. Mandrake's going to be trying to tie down the Shooter Boys, which makes a lot of sense. And the jet bike is going to be targeting the character here. And on the back, the Homunculus is coming out. So the Homunculus, let's see, 1,000 HP. And, oh man, what does this thing do? I'm very curious to see what it can provide. It looks like it does have a decent little melee profile fighting against the Big Mac. So if we look at the stat line, it has 1,000 HP compared to the Big Mac's 1,300. 2 Reaver bikes are out, but obviously they should have the micro advantage and will be able to escape right there. The Mandrake's able to chase, but the Shooter Boy was able to get back. Map control for sure going for the Orks. The Orks are really all over the place, spreading like mushrooms. We see critical locations being taken by Orks in droves. They are going to be getting the central critical location. The western one is not taken by them, but they will get the victory timer going here relatively soon. So what is the attack going to be for the Orks? The Wog banner is going to be coming up here, and going back to the middle, we do see Shooter Boy squads and Sluggaboys shooting at the Homunculus, which apparently is doing some okay damage here, nothing too crazy. Reaver jet bikes pulling in. They seem to be relatively squishy with only 400 HP, but even still, they're enduring well and picking off models and bleeding manpower, as we have said in Company of Heroes, which is feels very similar in that way, right? Like these little trades, even though they might seem like minutia, not very important, like every unit that's being replaced is 30 manpower or 30 requisition, which is very, very big. So using the Reaver jet bikes to kind of death by 1,000 cuts your opponent, I like that. I think that's really cool. So listening post is set up here, and the Dark Eldar are going to be taking these various points around here, grabbing whatever they can. Sluggaboy is going to be heading down to the south after they have captured that. So we do see critical location 1, and oh, this one was never taken. Okay, it looks like it did get decapped here. The Dark Eldar in the process of decapping that, so the victory condition not going to be there. Mandrake's heading to the south. More WA banners coming up in the base. So we got double generators. WA banners going to be setting up everywhere they can. And we just have the Shooter Boys and the Sluggaboys playing very defensively now. They were very spread out on the map, but just setting up their upgraded listening posts here so they don't lose ground. Setting up WA banners to kind of split the difference of these posts for a little bit of territory control, which is nice. And now the Reaver jet bikes of the Dark Eldar are going to be zipping down here, but they should be fended off by listening posts. They're not super tanky, like I said, 400 HP, but with good micro. Dark Eldar and Eldar in general, just like in tabletop, like Death Guard is what I play in tabletop, and Chaos Space Marines, which are pretty tanky factions, especially Death Guard. You're very forgiving. You can make a lot of mistakes. You can move in. You can kind of chill out a little bit. Here we do see the Tortured Slave is going to be repairing the jet bike. Really nice micro there. Slave Chamber, of course, is for harvesting the souls, which allows you to use the Eldar abilities. This game does have a relatively janky casting system. You can't really see a lot of information, but the Slave Chamber is nice. It drops off souls, and then you can harvest them, and you can use army abilities with that, which pretty fun. It's a couple of factions do have like some army ability equivalents. Dark Eldar do seem like a very high skill cap faction to play. Same with Orks, to be honest. Even though Orks are like unga bunga on paper, yeah, I like these little picks are so good. I mean, that's just a squad potentially going to be getting wiped here, which is going to require his opponent to rebuild that. Sluggo Boy squad, mind you, so nothing too crazy, but value city as the homunculus does continue chasing. The Orcs going to be pulling back right now, and probably just going to be upgrading their listening posts at a very tight formation and trying not to lose the game here with Dark Foundry, Homunculus Laboratory. And now the Witch Cult Arena is going to be coming out. Okay, that's where it gets crunk. We do see Scourge Squad, heavy infantry jump troops, effective at range, good against infantry and heavy infantry. And the Witch Cult Arena, obviously, one of the things we saw when we first started playing this game was how freaking brutal the witches were with those like hound units in the end game. My goodness, they were nuts. Okay, one jet bike does go down to the Orcs War Track. So War Tracks here are going to be anti-vehicle, and looks like the Bomb Chukka upgrade is coming out. Medium to long range, effective against infantry, functions like artillery. Cool. So the Orcs going to be getting their Haggard party wagons, and it looks like the Mandrake's going to be getting taken out. And finally, the Orcs getting a bit of revenge. Able to move some Sluggo Boys out here, grab some map control up on the top. Homunculus Laboratory. I wish I could look through all the upgrades. That'd be so nice. We have the dreaded placeholder here. Stinger Research. Equips the Homunculus with Stinger Darts, poison tip projectiles that cause enemies to explode on death. Okay, that seems very effective against like Guardsmen, Orc Boys, kind of like lower tier units in general, right? Scourge Squad are out. They can fly around and address Orc harass wherever they need. And also, apparently, let's look at the upgrades. So they have Dark Lances, a fearsome weapon that fires streams of dark matter, punching through with heavy armor, effective against vehicles and buildings. Okay. So that is going to be the anti-vehicle tech here for the Dark Eldar. And that's really cool that they have a jump pack unit that has anti-heavy capabilities and also anti-building. I mean, talk about having a couple Scourge Squads in the late game to go take down listening posts on the flanks and be able to fly around and jump. And, if enemy vehicles are squeaking away, they can fly after them. I really like these. These Scourge Squads are badass. And it looks like he does have two of them as well. So the Orcs coming in, they do have their war truck, their other business here. And now the bikes are going to be on their way in. And we do see those guys relocating a little bit. Mandrake's going to be sent into melee, and I would imagine that the Scourge Squads, okay, so they don't have the Dark Lance upgrade. They start anti-infantry, and then they can be upgraded to get the anti-vehicle tech. So that's why they're not doing a whole lot into those. But look at those guys getting microed away, but the Orc Wog is pretty erect right now, guys. The War Tracks are just melting those jet bikes. And we do also have the War Truck getting a nice little bit of DACA as well, but these Scourge Squads are almost getting the War Truck. The War Truck is going to be barely escaping here, and we do see the Orc hero, the big mech. Is he going to be able to teleport away? He's locked in a sync animation, and he does go down to the shooting from the Scourge Squads. Very, very scrappy fight right there, guys. It looks like we do have a Homunculus mixed in with that squad as well. And the nice jump attack coming in from the big old beams of doom here, the Dark Lances. I remember those. I've had my Plague Burst Crawlers killed by Dark Lances many, many a time. But the War Track, losing HP very rapidly. These guys are able to tank it well. The War Trucks seem a little bit better against infantry compared to the trucks compared to the track. But two vehicles do go down. Are we going to be seeing a wipe? One squad, they're pretty close to getting wiped right now. They are replenishing, but getting a full wipe there would be rough. And it looks like we do get a full wipe on one of those. So the War Trucks are able to cackle and get the job done. A Reaver jet bike going to be moving in. The Tower of Loathing being upgraded in the production area. Let's see. So Dark Lance. Okay, so you can get some anti-vehicle. That's really nice. If you're playing against like Guard or a faction that wants to rush you with like, Hellhounds or something, you're going to be able to upgrade and get the Dark Lance upgrade on your big buildings there. So Orcs going to be grabbing the middle. We do see the critical location being taken. A nice sweaty game between these two players, which is always very, very fun. Moving to the southwest, the Mandrake's going to be trying to ninja that point, and in the middle, the Homunculus with his poison dart. So I'm curious to see this. When he kills a unit, they apparently explode. More Reaver jet bikes out. It looks like the Reaver jet bikes do have more HP, so he must have had some sort of an upgrade that's able to upgrade their HP, which is cool, making them slightly more sustainable in these longer-term combats. The Orc Boys get massacred over here, or not Orc Boys, the Mandrakes by the War Truck squad. To the War Trucks, the Limp Bizkit Greenskin army is going to keep rolling, but There is some anti-vehicle, and now we do have a Raider out as well. So the Raider does have some decent range damage. We'll see if it has anything funky on it. It doesn't do too much damage against the trucks, a little bit. It looks like it has some sort of a big gun on the front, which does respectable damage here. The Big Mech is back in business, and the mech shop is out, which of course has been producing these vehicles. The Dark Eldar are going to be taking some map control again, pushing the Orks back into the base. Critical location being taken here. This one is owned by the Orks, though, I believe, is it? Let's see. So, yes, it is owned by the Eldar. So they had a kind of a funky banner overlay there. I read that wrong. A little bit of infiltrating Ork boys. Kind of sneaky gets. I love to see it. The Dark Eldar Raiders are coming out with the jet bikes as well as these Scourge squads. I like that composition. It seems like the Raiders and the jet bikes can trade into the infantry well, and then of course the Scourges are designed to take down the bigger vehicles. But the WOG is cackling pretty good. We do have the boys in the middle. They're doing their thing. A lot of these slave chambers being built, and there is a worker there harvesting souls. He's just doing his thing, you know, living his best life. Who doesn't love living in Dark Eldar society? More Raiders going to be heading down, gathering up, so a lot of vehicles for both players now. Not a lot in the way of like standard infantry. I wonder if we're going to be seeing a transition into witches. That late game composition of seeing the witches and then those hounds, which together with the combat drugs seem to really, really nasty. Okay, we are going to see that. So the Witch Squad. Heavy infantry uses crippling attacks that slow units and sap morale, effective against commanders and infantry. So pretty nice. Should be able to kill the Big Mech very quickly, and also will be able to mow down the chaff in the front. So once you clear out, oh, but knobs are out. Okay. So we got the big knobs. These guys are absolute big chunguses, and they are going to be taking the middle, and they're also teamed up with the Big Mech. Oh, very, very cool. So they have the Power Claw upgrade. Man, you can get 10 Power Claws on those guys. Man, that's badass. And of course the Knob Leader as well. A little bit of raiding on the side. I'm loving this. The War Truck's just kind of poking in there and taking down the Towers of Loathing. And it looks like we do have some stealth. Those are, I forget what they're called, but they do have the Tank Busters. Yeah, able to kill one of the bikes. And look at that. The Eldar Raiders can actually teleport or fly a little bit. Very, very cool. So Mandrakes are in combat here, and the Witches, I would imagine, are out as well. I didn't quite see them, but I think they're in the mix somewhere. Yeah, the Witch Squad is there. The Raiders are now moving into combat here and shooting down the Knobs, but the Knobs are absolute beefcakes, man. And they might be able to just get through this Dark Eldar line. These War Trucks providing a lot of nice DPS against the infantry here. The Mandrakes and the Witches kind of getting pounded, and I think the Orc Knobs are just a little bit too thick. We do also see Tank Busters doing excellent work shooting into the Raiders here, but yeah, Raiders are enduring. The jet bikes were targeted first, now the Raiders are going to be targeted. And are the Dark Eldar going to be able to endure this? Their Witch Squad is looking very, very bare bones, only 500 HP left, and the last of the Dark Eldar Raiders is going to be going in the trash can. I think a big difference in this fight is that the Dark Eldar didn't seem to have a lot of presence in regards to the, dealing with the vehicles. I mean, the Knobs are one thing to deal with, and yeah, I mean, that was a pretty one-sided fight, actually, as the Knob Squad going to be moving in. Some upgrades coming in, various researches, splinter cannons, but I do not know how the Dark Eldar are going to be enduring. Witch Squad coming out, and they are good against infantry, according to their tooltip, but the Knobs are very, very heavy, strong infantry. Hit incredibly hard in melee with 84 damage, and have a look at that, 10,000 HP on that squad. That is disgusting, man. Oh my goodness. Tower of Loathing is shooting, and there is a Dark Lance upgrade on it, which will do some damage against them, but a complete rout for the Dark Eldar here. And they are making their last stand using their Raiders, but it looks like the big Knob's going to be moving in, and the Tank Busters having stealth is so freaking cool. So they can just like pop out, ambush you. If your opponent doesn't have detection, they can get some great utility. Trying to get a snipe on the Reaver jet bike over here, and it looks like they will, so that thing's going to be going in the trash. Reaver flying forward, doing a little bit of a jump attack in there, but I don't know what kind of damage it's actually going to get done. I think the Tank Busters just turn around and kill it. The Witch Squad taken down, and ladies and gentlemen of the grim, dark, distant future, I think that is going to be the game set match here, as the Raider does get taken down by Tank Busters. And honestly, that was a really fun game. We got to see some elite units, some tier 3, Reaver jet bikes, Raiders, Witches, War Trucks, War Tracks, Knobs, Tank Busters. We kind of got all the colors of the rainbow there. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you have anything to that like maybe I missed, like cool tech, since I can't look at it and I haven't really played these factions a bunch, I'm learning on the go, but I feel like I've already learned quite a bit about basic units and their functionality and matchups here. So that was fun. GG, thank you guys so much for joining. We will be uploading more battles soon. I'm having a blast with this game, and that's going to be it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Take care of yourselves.